All right, so this is a only a proof of concept, but the discussion here is more about the CRMs of the future, what to be expecting, and this tool itself is more focused on ABM, which is account-based marketing. There's many commonalities between how AI and account-based marketing fit in and CRMs fit in. So here we have a product which I'll keep um, nameless, but it's about PRN and PRN solutions. So let's go through some of this. So the first thing is that we create a series of agents. Now the agents are structured hierarchical, and the AI is fed in by starting with strategies. The first is what is the customer problem? So why does the business really exist? What is it serving? What is its overall arching goals of the business. The second layer down is then getting into the different top areas. So your uh, head of sales, head of marketing, head of customer success. So the next stage in this, because there's more ABM focus, is going to be around the uh, the ICP. The what are you actually targeting? And then it goes further down. But the difference here is because we're using AI, a different agent setups, and each of these agents are kind of specialized into their domain knowledge. They're going to be asking questions and interacting with us to find the right solution. And then those that solution will then be passed on to the next agent, so they're sharing common information to understand the objective of the of what we're trying to achieve. So why this is better is because, a lot of people are using AI with a single shot approach, um, or even a multi-agent approach. So this, in some ways, is a multi-agent approach, but it's more refining the strategy. So it's more like a multi-shot approach with a single agent, and then that knowledge is then summarized and compressed to pass on to the next agent as part of its background and its current understanding. Um, and then obviously this will spawn off into research ones, which will then follow that information and enhance it. So here we talk about competition and USP, which will then, work out what are the main vectors that you're having in terms of where your company sits relative to other companies, which is identifying USP, which may be described here, but this is more visualizing and representing it either on two or three, dimensions of information to move forward. So let's get into this. So the first thing is it's, instead of the future AI is going to be based on strategy and not data. So the every piece of data you're going to get is because it related to a strategy. Where before it's like writing the strategy down and trying to formalize the strategy, collecting the data, and then trying to relate it to the strategy, but it's not directly driven by the strategy first. So I think that's one of the biggest changes we're going to see in CRM and other tools. This is, as I said, just a mock-up, and it's far from a finished application. But the point is the argument of discussion. So here, we're right at the top level. I'm asking, um, let's define the customer problems, and it's given me some starting points. What specific challenges or frustrations is customers experience? So that's the starting point. Um, so facilities, and so at this point, the dialogue goes back and forth to refine what we're actually tr- trying to resolve. But instead of learning the dialogue, which is something which can be risky because there could be mistakes or there could be back and forth within the dialogue, we compress it through using a summarization method. So this will take the dialogue and then dispose the dialogue into a summary rather than a compressed conversation. This means that the outcome of this is like a multi-shot approach in AI, the ability to discover all facts and information is then compressed into a useful summary which reflects information here. It's not static, so as the system evolves, so like its strategies evolves and information evolves, the strategy can evolve as well, which is then passed down into the different levels of the stages. So given here, this would be the first definition. The second definition is in getting into the ABM and targeting, which looks at your ICP. So the ICP is the ability to identify the the customer profile. So thinking about this strategy mentality is that with CRMs, we focus on personas and treating people as individual. But when you have the power of AI, you can start changing that mentality and you can look at every individual as a person and not just a persona. So, from the strategy point, think of it as the umbrella case of what you're looking at. But in the detailed level, once it's find the people, it can use the ICP and enhance it with every individual's information that we can collect about an individual, about someone that we're trying to influence, someone trying to be a friend of a friend network, someone that we're trying to sell to directly, someone that's part of the decision-making chain. All these people can then be referred as a person within the whole process. And that doesn't really matter if it's ABM or traditional B2B because the persona is not necessary anymore. It, it's not necessary in the sense that we're not selling on a persona level, we're selling on a person level. So it matters in the fact that we're going down another level deeper and making the context very specific to that person because we're getting the data about the person because it came from the strategy to begin with. So let's go through and create the ICP here. So you can see that this is pulling in the information already from the original customer problem. So this AI here is not is knowledgeable of what we're currently doing. All right. So I could keep going into this, but I'm going to go ahead and make this summary. So the summary will give me a good indication. I think it's done a very good job of the questions it's asked me. It's it's worked out it's US only, which was good. I didn't know if I mentioned that. Because of compliance, it's not. I mean, it could be cross country, but mainly the focus has been the compliance of the US, and it's done a real good job of kind of working out the people. So from here, it can do a few things. So from this point of strategy, the system will do a couple of things. First, it's going to start pulling out companies. It'll automatically search in LinkedIn, which I'll show you in the next video, which will perform searches on LinkedIn and other media, other resources to find the companies which it thinks meets that profile. So it'll automatically generate the searches, it'll go perform the searches, it'll collect the information. Once it checks that it really does feel like that company is a fit, because obviously keywords is going to bring back false positives, false positives, and so it's going to check against the AI based on the strategy to really see how it fits and how that company is going to complement that ICP. So we can start refining that ICP. That buyer's journey may be different by every account, so we can connect it. So we're saying to see the strategy. Um, and then after it's identified a strong company, it's going to get all the people, work out where the people fit, and all the information we know about that person, what events they're attending, other what they post, what they like, what they dislike, who they're networked with, and to build up that social network. So this is kind of a forensics activity of identifying the people in the background and the information. Um, as well, in the same time, we'll simultaneously start creating an awareness campaign. So the awareness campaign would just be general posts and comments. So identifying the core groups and the core where information is exchanged, where the ICP audience is fitting. So the awareness campaign is something that happens in parallel to to start training the reinforcement. And the theory behind the awareness campaign is less about selling, but more about the friend of the friend network to build up the network to be able to create the communication links or the information links. Once the companies are identified and the people are identified, then that large awareness campaign will then be reinvented, recreated based on each individual person. So we can start targeting not necessarily the person, but at least the network of the person. Because the objective of the ABM is not necessarily to sell, it's just to open up the doors related to the whole process of what we're trying to achieve. So just want to give you a rundown of the ABM and how AIs kind of work with strategy plus data, and not necessarily the other way around, how it's being done today.